Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff from the Cyber Pro podcast, back with another episode today and a very exciting guest. We got a few moments to speak before we started the recording, and I think you're really going to enjoy the next 10 minutes. So with that, we're going to jump right in. Good morning, Diana. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are?
Good morning, Jeff. Thank you for having me here. I work in cybersecurity at SAP and also run a mentorship initiative to encourage young girls to get into engineering and technology back in Kenya. I'm really passionate about data security because I believe it's a human right, and also gender equality, or rather, I also believe that women's rights are human rights.
Well put, and that could be a much longer topic. But
yeah.
Question number 2 is, can you share with us, being a cyber professional, what you feel is the most interesting aspect about your profession, your career?
The most interesting aspect about it is that you become skeptical about a lot of things, especially when it comes to personal identifiable information. When an organization or someone is asking for my data, I have to know how will this data be used? Why can I ask for its deletion? So I find that interesting as a cybersecurity professional, that I have to always ask, why are you asking for my data? Even when I'm accessing a website, I have to ensure that it's secure. Of course, most websites are 99% secure, if not 95%. But I'm always careful around that, and I find that very interesting.
95%. I think you're an optimist. Question number 3. We hear from other industry leaders that cybersecurity is a top concern and only getting bigger. From your perspective, what does that mean to you?
Data is more powerful right now than oil. With the energy crisis, of course, happening, I cannot tell anymore which is more powerful than what, but a year ago, we all thought that data was more powerful than oil. And because a lot of organizations depend on data, even for individuals running their own companies, whether small companies, big companies, governments as well, it's important that everyone's privacy is respected, because there have been cases that someone was stalked. I have had also a lot of examples where women are stalked because their data was exposed on the internet, or they did not consent to things, to their personal information, such as their email or mobile numbers being exposed. So I think it's important to always protect. It should not be even a compromise.
Yeah, that's a tough topic. We might get back to that one in a second. But question number 4 is, what insights or advice about principles of success would you like to share with our viewers?
Yes, I would. One thing I'm also passionate in cybersecurity is security champions, building security champion. And security champion is a member of a team that takes the responsibility of acting as the primary contact of security. So figure out a dev team. Most of them are developers, but there is one person in a team who is assigned to be a security champion. Some of the principles, as you mentioned, Jeff, you asked about the principle of success in this advocacy. The first one is independence. Always ensure that a security champion is independent, and let them not wait for you to tell them to do something. The second one is confidentiality. They can trust you. They can trust whoever is leading that program. The third one is the human-centered approach. That is, be empathetic, and empathy is very important when it comes to developers, especially when it comes to all of us as human beings, but also with developers. It's very important to also always be empathetic and empower the security champions, provide them with the necessary tools, processes, and knowledge. the fifth one is always provide equal opportunity to all of them. Everyone has access to security to all of them. So these are some of the principles of success, I believe, when it comes to building security champions.
Over the last few minutes, we've gone through kind of the scripted questions we normally do here on the Cyber Pro podcast, and you've said a couple of things which really have hit home. You've said words like human rights and empathy. And part of what we try to do here at the Cyber Pro podcast is to understand where people's passions are and where they're going, and to kind of layer in their story on top of that to make it more personal, to understand a little bit more about our guest, Diana. Tell us a little bit about your story, how you've arrived here. And as a side note, love to hear a little bit more about your goal to teach STEM and security to young girls in Kenya. I'm feeling like there's a connection there.
So I developed my passion for security when I was in high school. At that point, I used to watch a lot of movies, and I loved investigative movies. Now I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. So, and back then I was very irritated about spying in people's houses, or stalking someone. And I began developing a lot of passion for security. Fast forward, when I was almost finishing my university degree, I started self-educating myself with online courses. And anyone listening to this podcast, I would advise you to also go online, check out for free online courses, or even paid ones if you want. But free, if information is there, it's still okay to use free online courses. And then I started following people on LinkedIn, information security experts in Kenya, because I wanted to understand how is this space like in my country. I'm Kenyan. I never thought, by the way, Jeff, I never thought I would work abroad ever. So this just happened by coincidence, maybe, but we'll get to that. So, and once I connected with them, some gave me the advice that I should do certifications. Others advised me to join communities. One of them invited me to his office to follow him, to shadow him, or to follow him all day to see how a cybersecurity consultant works, because he runs a company in Kenya, a cybersecurity consultancy firm. So the first step I did was to join a community. I believe in cybersecurity communities because you get to learn more, you get to be challenged, especially because once you see someone has made it over there, you believe it. Once you experience a challenge, there's always someone to reach out to. And one thing I love about the InfoSec community is that people will always be happy to help you. Yeah, and then I worked in Kenya for the past 3 years, mostly in the energy sector and also in the non-profit sector. When I was turning 24, I applied for a program called Africa Compt. It's an initiative of the German Industry for Future Leaders from Africa, and I was selected among the 40 fellows who are selected out of 9,100 applicants in Africa. That's how I joined SAP and successfully here in Germany, and successfully completed my fellowship in February this year and started a full-time position in March. And so far so good. Of course, in this call, I am not speaking on behalf of SAP, but I would say it's an incredible company, and we run we ensure that I've forgotten that how we say it, but anyway, I joined SAP this year, and so far so good, and also Germany as well, adopting to a new country, joining last year, traveling last year during COVID, and I have adopted so far, learned German here and there. I can speak some few words, if not statements. Yeah, that's my story. And I always, because I am from rural Kenya, it's central Kenya called Nyandarua. I always want to encourage other young girls to believe. They do not have to pursue. Of course, I'm very passionate about technology and engineering, and I want them to pursue that because of the gender gap that is existing. But most importantly, I want them to believe in themselves. I want them to pursue their passion. If they want to stay in Kenya, if they want to go abroad, to pursue their career, and most importantly, if they want also to start their own companies, they can still do that. So for me, it's pushing that confidence and that belief, that knowing a girl can be two things: what she wants and what she wants to be. So that's about it, Jeff.
Such an important underlying theme that I think that really needs to be resaid, where, there are so many people in this planet that are born in situations where they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe that they can do something or make a difference. And I think we're here to share with them that they can.
Yeah.
Having a little difficult time speaking because this one certainly hit close to home for me. We thank you for your time and we wish you well.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Short Arm Solutions.
You made it to the end. Thanks for watching the Cyber Pro podcast today. You can find more content here and there.